So, Friends, the buzz begins with the courtroom headlines that had fans everywhere talking when the judge denied Blake Lively's subpoena to Sourced Intelligence, a private investigation firm tied to the Wayfair matter. And though legal details might seem dry, the way they intersect with celebrity life always makes for a fascinating look into how stars balance their public image with the private realities of disputes and challenges. And Blake Lively has always been more than just a name on a docket. She is a household figure who rose to fame on Gossip Girl, dazzling audiences with her effortless charm, and later starred in films like The Age of Adeline and A Simple Favor, while at the same time establishing herself as a red carpet fashion icon, often seen in couture gowns designed by ateliers who consider her their muse. And she is admired not only for her career, but for her ability to juggle motherhood, marriage to Ryan Reynolds, and philanthropy, with causes close to her heart, from child welfare to women empowerment. So when Blake finds herself in messy disputes, it reminds the public that celebrities live layered lives filled with triumphs, trials, and lessons, and that is the perfect doorway to look deeper into the world of Hollywood and beyond, where stars from every corner of the globe share journeys that are inspiring, heartbreaking, and always entertaining. Because take someone like Taylor Swift, whose career is a testament to reinvention. She started as a teenage country singer, strumming her guitar, and grew into a global pop powerhouse, filling stadiums worldwide with Eras tour concerts that not only celebrate her music, but also her storytelling resilience and her bond with fans she has faced public feuds, media scrutiny, and even industry battles for ownership of her work. Yet she turned those struggles into anthems and advocacy. And then there is Selena Gomez, who moved from Disney fame to building a music career while being open about her mental health journey and her lupus battle, inspiring millions through her transparency and even building Rare Beauty, her brand that champions inclusivity and supports mental health initiatives. Fans adore her, not only for her songs, but for her honesty, which makes her one of the most relatable stars out there. And speaking of relatability, few journeys have touched hearts like Demi Lovato, who has used their music and personal battles as a way to advocate for healing and recovery. Their ability to transform pain into art and inspire hope proves that stardom is not just about glamour, but about vulnerability and connection. And across the globe, stars like BTS have taken the world by storm, showing how music can transcend language. Their message of self-love and resilience has united fans from diverse cultures, creating a movement bigger than charts and records. They are proof that authenticity is the new currency of fame, and alongside them, Blackpink shines as a group redefining female empowerment in K-pop. Their performances electrify audiences, and their fashion choices land them as front-row muses for Dior, Chanel, and Saint Laurent, proving the deep crossover between music, fashion, and cultural influence. And yet Hollywood itself remains filled with legends whose careers span decades, like Meryl Streep, who embodies excellence in acting, each role a masterclass in craft, and she continues to use her voice for advocacy, inspiring young actors to pursue art with purpose. Or someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, who moved from teenage heartthrob to Oscar-winning actor and environmental activist, blending fame with a mission to fight climate change, making his influence felt far beyond the screen. And then there are stars who built empires from humble beginnings, like Oprah Winfrey, rising from poverty to becoming one of the most powerful figures in media, using her platform to inspire change and give back through philanthropy. Her journey is living proof that dreams, against all odds, can transform lives. And then we have entrepreneurs like Rihanna, who turned her music stardom into a business empire, through Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, creating inclusive brands that broke industry norms while continuing to leave fans excited for her next era of music. Or Beyoncé, whose artistry has reached legendary heights, each album and performance meticulously crafted to honor culture, history, and empowerment, making her one of the greatest performers of all time. And while music dominates, so does sport, when athletes transcend their field to become cultural icons like Serena Williams, whose dominance in tennis is unmatched, but whose fashion business advocacy for women and commitment to motherhood has made her story even richer. Or LeBron James, who is considered one of the greatest basketball players in history, and still uses his platform to create schools and give opportunities to children, showing how celebrity can mean real-world impact. And as we trace these journeys, we also remember stars who left us too soon, like Chadwick Boseman, whose portrayal of Black Panther was not just a role, but a movement giving representation to millions, and his quiet strength during illness remains a story of courage and grace, and his legacy will never fade. Because art has the power to transcend time, just as Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson remind us of voices and performances that shaped entire generations, inspiring everyone who followed. And even newer icons like Zendaya carry that torch. Her career balancing Disney roots, euphoria, artistry, and high fashion presence has made her one of the most respected young talents of her generation, redefining what it means to be a modern superstar. And so when we loop back to the headlines around Blake Lively, it is not just about legal battles, but about how stars navigate a complex world, where fame magnifies both wins and losses, and where every headline becomes part of a larger story of resilience, inspiration, and legacy that fans continue to follow with unshakable devotion. And what is so incredible about the celebrity world is how each figure, no matter their field, leaves a mark that resonates across cultures and generations. Because if you look at someone like Lady Gaga, she started as Stephanie Germanotta hustling in small clubs in New York City, facing rejections, but refusing to stop until her voice was heard and her art respected. And now she is not only a global music superstar, but also an Academy Award-winning actress, a philanthropist, and a trailblazer. For LGBTQ rights and mental health advocacy, her little monsters adore her because she taught them to be proud of who they are, to live unapologetically, and to transform pain into power. And then on the other side of the pop spectrum, there is Katy Perry, whose candy-colored hits lit up charts and who built a reputation for turning concerts into carnivals of joy and fun. Yet behind the glitter, she balances motherhood and business ventures, proving that reinvention and growth are essential. Parts of stardom, and then we cannot ignore Justin Bieber, whose journey from being discovered on YouTube as a teenager to becoming one of the most streamed artists in history has been filled with ups and downs. But what stands out is his honesty about struggles with fame, mental health, and relationships. He went from being a tabloid target to someone who speaks openly about healing, faith, and responsibility, showing fans that growing up in public is not easy, but growth is possible. And his wife, Hailey Bieber, brings her own influence to the table, blending modeling, fashion collaborations, and a calm, centered perspective that balances out the whirlwind of fame. Together, they show a newer vision of celebrity built on authenticity and mutual support. And speaking of authenticity, the rise of Zendaya stands as a defining moment for young Hollywood, because she is not only an actress and singer, but also a voice for fashion, inclusivity, social justice, and artistic depth. She moved from Disney Channel beginnings to an Emmy-winning performance on Euphoria, and stunned the world with her grace at red carpets, making her a muse for Valentino and Bulgari. She reminds fans that talent combined with humility creates longevity. And then there is Timothée Chalamet, a young actor whose star burned bright with Call Me By Your Name and has since grown through blockbusters like Dune, while still maintaining an indie charm. His fashion risk-taking has made him a style icon, breaking gendered red carpet norms and inspiring young fans to embrace creativity without fear. And this evolution of young Hollywood shows us that the future of celebrity is both bold and deeply human. And if we look further back, we see how icons of the past paved the way for this, like Audrey Hepburn, whose timeless elegance combined with her humanitarian work for UNICEF makes her remembered not only as a star of Breakfast at Tiffany's, but also as a woman who used fame to give back. Or Marilyn Monroe, who despite personal struggles became a lasting symbol of glamour, vulnerability, and cultural fascination, proving that celebrity legacies are shaped by both art and humanity. And in the present, we see similar blending of glamour and heart, with stars like Angelina Jolie, who has been an action star, a director, and most importantly, a humanitarian, advocating for refugees and children worldwide. Her work with the UN has made her a respected voice for human rights, and her life as a mother shows that celebrity is never one-dimensional. And Brad Pitt, too, remains a beloved figure whose acting career spans decades, from cult classics to Academy Awards, while his philanthropic efforts like rebuilding efforts in New Orleans show the quieter side of his legacy. And another power couple we cannot skip is Jay-Z and Beyoncé, because together, they are more than artists. They are business moguls, philanthropists, and cultural icons who have redefined what power and partnership can look like. They build empires but also support scholarships, activism, and social justice initiatives. Their music and their image constantly remind fans of the power of unity and vision. And if we cross into sports again, the name Cristiano Ronaldo resonates, because he is one of the greatest football players of all time. Yet, beyond his goals, records, and awards, he has also built a legacy of hard work, philanthropy, and family devotion. Millions admire him for his discipline and ability to inspire. And then there is Lionel Messi, whose humble personality combined with unmatched skill makes him a universal icon of perseverance and excellence. And his recent World Cup victory with Argentina was not only a sports milestone, but an emotional global. Celebrations showing how athletes can unite nations in joy and pride. And similarly, tennis champion Roger Federer brought grace to the court and used his fame to support education through his foundation, leaving behind a legacy of elegance, sportsmanship, and giving. And when we turn back to Hollywood's stories of resilience shine brightly, like Robert Downey Jr., who went from career lows and personal battles to becoming Iron Man, one of the most beloved characters of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and his comeback reminds everyone that redemption is possible and even the darkest chapters can lead to brighter futures. And Marvel itself has produced stars like Scarlett Johansson, who not only dazzled as Black Widow, but also pursued independent cinema while balancing family life, proving her range and commitment to storytelling, or Chris Hemsworth, whose transformation into Thor made him a global star, but who remains grounded with a devotion to fitness, family, and even environmental initiatives. And fans around the world love him for his charm and accessibility. And while Marvel shaped an era, so did the rise of stars like Gal Gadot, whose portrayal of Wonder Woman gave millions of young girls a hero that symbolized strength, kindness, and courage. And she continues to use her fame to speak on issues of equality and global awareness, blending the superhero image with real-world activism. And when we continue exploring the world of celebrity, it is impossible not to admire how certain figures transcend their industries to become cultural beacons. And one shining example is Oprah Winfrey, whose journey from poverty to becoming the queen of daytime television and eventually a billionaire philanthropist proves that storytelling itself can change the world. Her empire includes a magazine, a television network, and countless inspirational interviews. But what cements her place in history is her commitment to empowering others through education, scholarships, and opportunities. And then you have Ellen DeGeneres, who broke barriers as one of the first openly gay comedians and television hosts to achieve mainstream success, reminding audiences of the importance of laughter, kindness, and visibility, though her journey had bumps along the way. Her impact on representation cannot be denied. And another example of cultural shift comes from RuPaul, who not only built a career in music and performance, but revolutionized television with RuPaul's Drag Race opening doors for drag artists and reshaping conversations about gender identity, creativity, and self-expression. And these evolutions mirror similar breakthroughs in the world of music, where artists like Taylor Swift have rewritten the rulebook of artistry and ownership, starting as a teenage country singer strumming her guitar. She grew into a global superstar, reclaiming her masters, standing up for artists' rights, and creating record-breaking Eras tours, all while writing songs that serve as emotional soundtracks to millions of lives. She blends vulnerability with savvy business strategy, inspiring fans to embrace both heart and hustle. And then we see someone like Adele, whose powerhouse vocals and deeply personal storytelling made her an instant legend. She disappears from the spotlight only to return with albums that shatter records and win every award possible. And fans love her even more for her humor, her relatability, and her willingness to show both glamour and raw humanity. And speaking of powerhouse voices, Ariana Grande has journeyed from Nickelodeon beginnings to pop royalty, with a voice often compared to legends. Her resilience, after tragedies like the Manchester concert attack, and her ability to transform pain into music, solidified her bond with fans who see her as both strong and empathetic. And across the globe, K-pop has emerged as one of the most powerful forces in entertainment, with groups like BTS who not only dominate charts but also spread messages of self-love, unity, and resilience. Their speeches at the United Nations and their philanthropic contributions prove they are more than performers. They are leaders of a movement. And similarly, Blackpink has redefined what global girl groups can achieve, blending fashion, luxury endorsements with music that resonates worldwide, proving that language is no barrier to fandom. And their rise has inspired countless aspiring artists, particularly young women who see possibility reflected in their success. And from Asia, we can look to Bollywood, where actors like Priyanka Chopra Jonas built massive careers before transitioning into Hollywood, bringing a wave of cultural exchange and representation. And her philanthropic work on education and women empowerment adds even more depth to her journey. And then there is Shah Rukh Khan, known as the King of Bollywood, whose career of decades makes him one of the most recognizable faces on earth, admired not only for his films, but also for his charm, wit, and philanthropic initiatives. His story of resilience from humble beginnings in Delhi to becoming an international superstar continues to inspire millions. And as we circle back to Hollywood, stories of resilience never end. Like Keanu Reeves, who became beloved not only for films like The Matrix and John Wick, but for his humility, generosity, and quiet acts of kindness that have turned him into an internet folk hero. His story shows that fame does not need to harden people but can amplify goodness. And that echoes in the career of Tom Hanks, often called America's dad. Because his warmth, humor, and acting range make him universally loved. And his ability to portray both heroes and ordinary men has built a connection across generations, while his off-screen reputation as kind, generous, and professional makes him a model of what celebrity can look like at its best. And then there is Meryl Streep, the queen of acting, whose decades-long career has made her the gold standard for talent. Yet she remains humble and committed to telling stories that matter. Her philanthropy and mentorship make her an icon not just of cinema, but of humanity. And if we consider fashion as another stage, celebrities like Rihanna have shown how artistry can cross into entrepreneurship. She went from pop anthems to building Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty empires, redefining inclusivity in beauty and lingerie industries and creating opportunities for people of all shades and sizes. Her career proves that reinvention and fearlessness create lasting impact. And alongside her, you see Kim Kardashian, who transformed reality television fame into a multi-billion-dollar empire through Skims fragrances and other ventures. And while she has faced criticism, she has also been praised for using her influence in prison reform. Advocacy showing that celebrity platforms can evolve in surprising ways. And her sister Kylie Jenner made headlines as one of the youngest billionaires through her cosmetics brand, sparking conversations about influence, entrepreneurship, and the power of digital age branding. And then we see Gwyneth Paltrow, who built Goop into a wellness empire, reflecting how celebrities can transform personal interests into global movements, blending business with lifestyle and sparking conversations about health and culture. And these stories remind us that celebrity is not just about performance, but about creating new spaces for influence, whether in business, philanthropy, or cultural conversations. And as we dive deeper into these evolving spaces, we cannot ignore the massive impact of athletes who have transcended their sports to become cultural icons like Serena Williams, whose dominance on the tennis court shattered records and inspired young athletes everywhere, while her ventures into fashion business and activism cement her as a force beyond athletics. Her sister Venus also played a crucial role in paving the way for equal pay in tennis, fighting tirelessly for fairness and equity. Their stories remind us that sports and celebrity often intersect in ways that create lasting change. And then there is LeBron James, who not only redefined basketball, but also redefined what it means to be a role model. His philanthropy includes the I Promise School for underprivileged children, showing how influence can directly change communities. And he continues to balance athletic excellence with cultural leadership, inspiring millions around the world. And we can look to David Beckham, who transitioned from soccer stardom into a brand that spans fashion endorsements and philanthropy, while also supporting youth sports and global charities. And his wife Victoria Beckham moved from being a pop sensation as part of the Spice Girls to establishing herself as a respected fashion designer, creating a family brand that embodies longevity, reinvention, and unity. And similarly, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi showcase how athletes become global ambassadors for excellence. Their rivalries fueled a golden era of soccer, and their charitable contributions alongside endorsements reflect the dual role of athletes as both entertainers and humanitarians. And when we shift back to Hollywood, the stories of growth continue. With Zendaya, who evolved from a Disney star to a respected actress and fashion icon. Her role in Euphoria and blockbuster franchises like Spider-Man solidified her as a voice for her generation, and her fashion choices on red carpets prove how style can be storytelling, and her humility and advocacy make her an inspiring figure for young fans worldwide. And in the same way, Timothée Chalamet emerged as a breakout star, beloved for his vulnerability and artistry. His career shows how new generations of actors are blending traditional film roles with global influence, particularly through fashion and activism. And then we can talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whose journey from professional wrestling to becoming one of Hollywood's most bankable stars reflects resilience and charisma. He has built not just a film career, but also business ventures in tequila and fitness. And his connection with fans is fueled by authenticity, humor, and relatability, and on the flip side of comedic influence, you have Kevin Hart, who transformed stand-up success into acting, producing, and philanthropy, while remaining transparent about personal struggles, which only deepens his bond with audiences. And similarly, Will Smith, despite challenges, continues to be recognized for decades of work across film, music, and philanthropy, showing how celebrity lives include both triumphs and setbacks. Yet their legacies are built on longevity, adaptability, and a willingness to keep going. And another Fascinating arc comes from Lady Gaga, who shocked the world with avant-garde fashion and bold performances, before surprising everyone again with stripped-down acting roles like A Star is Born, proving her versatility and resilience. Her advocacy for mental health and LGBTQ rights further cement her as a global role model, and her story mirrors that of Madonna, the queen of reinvention who redefined pop culture across decades, always staying one step ahead of trends and sparking conversations about art identity and empowerment. And even now, younger artists like Billie Eilish carry that torch with unique styles, vulnerability, and messages that connect deeply with fans, showing that the cycle of inspiration continues across generations. And speaking of longevity, few stories inspire as much as Dolly Parton, who has not only built an enduring music career, but also quietly given back through countless philanthropic efforts like the Imagination Library, donating millions of books to children and even helping fund vaccine research. Her generosity, humor, and authenticity make her beloved across all demographics, proving that kindness amplifies fame rather than diminishes it. And another artist who reflects this blend of talent and philanthropy is Beyoncé, whose iconic performances, groundbreaking visual albums, and global tours cement her as one of the greatest entertainers of all time. While her work on Black excellence, women empowerment, and humanitarian causes extend her influence far beyond music, and with Jay-Z, the pair represent not just artistry, but entrepreneurship with ventures in streaming fashion and activism, showing how celebrity power couples can reshape industries and communities alike. And when we continue exploring the inspiring landscape of celebrity influence, it becomes impossible not to highlight Oprah Winfrey, whose story from poverty to becoming one of the most powerful media moguls in history proves how resilience, vision, and empathy can create an empire. Oprah did not just entertain, she educated, inspired, and gave platforms to countless voices, while also dedicating her resources to schools in Africa and scholarships around the world, becoming a symbol of empowerment and hope for millions. And following in that tradition, we see Ellen DeGeneres, who used her platform to break barriers for LGBTQ representation in television, while also bringing humor, kindness, and philanthropy into daytime television, creating a legacy of joy despite facing controversies and challenges. And her journey reminds us that celebrities are also human, navigating both triumphs and setbacks. Another powerful story of perseverance belongs to Shakira, whose music fused global influences and won hearts across continents, while her charity work through the Barefoot Foundation has transformed education opportunities for thousands of children in Colombia and beyond. And in the same way, Rihanna transitioned from pop superstardom to redefining beauty standards with Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, proving that inclusivity and innovation can shake entire industries. And her charitable work through the Clara Lionel Foundation makes her influence even more impactful as she redefines what celebrity entrepreneurship means. And speaking of entrepreneurship, we cannot forget Kim Kardashian, whose rise from reality TV fame to becoming a billionaire businesswoman highlights how reinvention, branding, and resilience can transform public perception. She also uses her influence to advocate for prison reform, reminding the world that even unexpected paths can lead to powerful impact. And her sister Kylie Jenner also built a beauty empire, showcasing how younger generations of celebrities leverage social media to build billion-dollar businesses while inspiring conversations about ownership and self-empowerment. And in contrast, Kendall Jenner represents another avenue where celebrity influence intersects with high-fashion runways, global campaigns, and entrepreneurial efforts, blending traditional modeling with modern branding. And continuing on the theme of blending worlds, Selena Gomez has balanced music, acting, and business ventures like Rare Beauty while being candid about her struggles with mental health and chronic illness, which only made her connection with fans stronger. Proving vulnerability is also a kind of strength, and Demi Lovato has shared a similar journey, transforming personal challenges into powerful art and advocacy, especially for mental health awareness, body positivity, and recovery, reminding us that influence grows when honesty leads the way. And if we look at Miley Cyrus, we see yet another star who continuously reinvents herself, breaking free of child star labels and embracing boldness, while also dedicating herself to causes like the Happy Hippie Foundation, supporting homeless youth and LGBTQ communities. And on the global stage, K-pop has exploded into mainstream consciousness, with groups like BTS leading not only in music charts, but also in advocacy, speaking at the United Nations and supporting mental health campaigns, while Blackpink continues to merge fashion, music, and global ambassadorships for major brands, showcasing how modern celebrity transcends language, borders, and cultures. And these success stories echo the earlier path paved by groups like the Spice Girls, who promoted girl power as a global movement, and bands like the Beatles, who turned music into a cultural revolution, showing that the influence of celebrities is never just about entertainment, but about shaping culture values and community across generations. And then there is Ed Sheeran, whose humble beginnings performing on street corners to becoming one of the biggest singer-songwriters in the world show that authenticity and persistence can break through any barrier, and his charitable efforts and down-to-earth nature make him beloved globally. And similarly, Adele, who turned heartbreak into art, continues to dominate charts while showing vulnerability and relatability that resonate across generations. Her story of staying grounded despite massive fame is a reminder that authenticity often lasts longer than spectacle. And on another side of the music world, Taylor Swift stands as a monumental figure whose artistry, business acumen, and commitment to reclaiming her work through re-recording her albums inspired millions of fans and fellow artists. Her journey highlights resilience, the importance of ownership, and how storytelling in music can create lifelong bonds with audiences. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspirational celebrity stories.